Saucy book.
From my saucy book. No, that was high school years for me. Are we good?
I got this message from Mulk, and I haven't watched the video yet, but the message is that first time we went all the way down to Charo Town.
You need to play it.
A few moments later.
Are we still recording?
We sure are.
All right, let's do it.
We sure are.
I don't know how to do this. It's been so long.
I can see the wheels turning.
I don't know what to say.
This is us. Skip the beat. Skip the beat.
Well, it has been a hot minute. Quite a few weeks. What, 5 or 6? 6, I think. Has it been 6?
I don't know. I think at least 5. Yep.
We are back. Skip the Beat, a podcast loosely based on music. My name is Matt. I'm joined with the other half of the podcast, Katie. How are you?
I'm good. It's very nice to be back for season 2 of the podcast.
Yes, we thought we'd get a few more episodes in season 1, but when you have a sabbatical, it's just...
Sometimes the world tells you need a break.
Needed a break. Lots of things happened, which we'll get to in a few minutes, no doubt. But yes, we're back. Season 2, episode 1.
Amazing.
Skip the beat. Here we are.
Here we are.
If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. There is a whole previous season, I think, of 12 episodes we'd love you to catch up on.
Yeah.
This is an episode where we talk a lot about music. We're both musicians. We both love live music in the performing arts space. So whether we're talking about things we're doing personally in our music and creative lives, or to different gigs and things that we've seen and gone to and watched and enjoyed, whatever it is, we will talk about it. And then just a bunch of stories and banter and laughing and at each other and banter and stuff from 20 years of friendship.
Yes.
That's us.
It is.
Did I get it right?
It is. You did.
Yeah, so welcome. Welcome back.
It's a daytime record, and Matt has opened up the windows of his studio. Like, we normally have the blinds down and it's normally dark. And just as you were talking then, a middle-aged man in a Hawaiian shirt scooted past on a scooter. It was quite the
like
sight.
A mailman, or just someone going off for a daily scoot?
Just a dude going for a scoot.
Daily scoot.
In his lunch break work from home job, I presume.
Well, if you for the listeners that we have that are overseas, spring has well and truly sprung here in Australia. Winter is gone. I don't think we'll see anything more of that. Where we live on the east coast in Brisbane, in Queensland. Obviously, if you're here in Brisbane, you know exactly where that is. If you're overseas, it does get quite humid and quite hot here from spring right through to really the end of autumn. And we have a sniff of a couple of weeks where we're like, oh, I might just pull the doona up tonight.
We have a little fake winter in the
middle. Yeah, a
middle.
little fake winter. But yeah, so it's quite warm. I'm wearing great footwear of choice today. Just in shorts. This is great.
Yeah. I'm back in my summer Birkenstocks. I think most of the last 12 eps I was in my winter Birkenstocks. So that's,
the cover
that's
the
right.
toes.
Yeah, the closed-in Birks. Now I'm back to summer Birks. It is, it's beautiful outside at the moment.
Real Birkenstocks must be nice.
Yeah.
My $6 ones I've got from Kmart that I wear.
Yeah, single income, no kids.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind the $6. They give you a bit of a blister. This is great content.
Bit of a rash,
but look,
bit of
it's
a
fine.
blister.
It's fine for the beach. Fine for the beach around the garden.
Yeah.
I'd wear them any day over Crocs. So it's, yeah. All right. So we got a lot to get on with. It has been, so I guess maybe just a few minutes of why we were off line for so long.
Yeah.
There has been a lot going on personally in my life with music and touring, and we'll get to that a little bit later in the pod. But also the main thing that stopped it was after episode 12, I came down with, my son got sick first. And then while having him at the doctor said to me, "You don't look well. Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm not really, but I'm more here for him." And he said, well, let's get you a swab. Let's get you tested. And so I had an appointment, got proper influenza A, which I've only had once before, and really quickly remembered how brutal
Yeah,
it actually
I don't think I've ever had it.
You've never had it?
Because you guys got floored.
I got the test result back, and it was kind of a relief. Like, I was kind of like, oh, okay, it's not just a little cold that I'm got here. Like, there's a reason I feel absolutely like death. But yeah, that rocked me for close to a week. And then Jen got it as well. And she had it for about the same time, but her recovery was a lot quicker, where mine lingered for 2 or 3 weeks after, just with this nasty, dry, chesty cough and just feeling very lethargic. And thankfully came good just before we kicked off our tour. Again, we'll get to that soon, but in Brisbane, which I was thankful about. But yeah, all the family are well now, but oh man, that was a rough trot of getting sick.
Yeah, so that's what started the hiatus. We cancelled a few pod records, and then hot on the tail of Matt's influenza A, I developed a little bit of had a little bit of a Menty B, we might say.
That's apparently what the kids call it these days.
It is
Menty
what the young'uns are calling it. At the age of 43, experienced my first ever couple of major panic attacks and had some severe anxiety triggered by a lifelong crap show I've had with insomnia. Just had a string of really bad nights, and yeah, it turns out not sleeping for a few weeks on end turns you into a little bit of a crazy person. So yeah, I had a bit of a scary couple of weeks there, which sort of made the hiatus extend out a bit longer. Very, very happy to report that I'm feeling 100% human again now. So it's awesome to be back doing these things that we love to do.
Absolutely. I think it was about 6 weeks. I think the beginning of, because I got the flu at beginning of August.
Yeah.
So it's been a hot minute, and then a
by the time this comes
few phone calls from Katie just saying, "Look, mate,
we're gonna have to can that again."
I'm okay. Well, I'm not okay, but I'm okay. I will be okay. And I'm like, "Mate, are you all right? Like, do this?" And you're like, "No, I'm all good. I've got my peeps. Just having a bit of a rough trot.
Didn't have a lot of bandwidth to get the extra things in life that I like to squeeze in. So it's been a good journey of learning that sometimes you have to say no to things even when you really want to do them, to just create a bit more space in life. And there's nothing funny or interesting about that. It's just learning to be a grown-up, I guess. Yeah.
I'm glad you are on the other side.
Yeah. You and me both.
Good old mental health, hey?
Yeah, it was a shocker.
Anxiety, it's a
just to brush with it. I remember I was thinking as I was going through it, a few nights were particularly bad, being awake in bed and just feeling absolutely terrible. Had some real thoughts about people that suffer that every day of their lives and how horrific that must feel. So it certainly has given me a deeper understanding of what our life is like for some people, and a greater appreciation that that is not something that I have to fight with every day. So yeah, there you have it.
Well, apart from the Menty Bs, what have you been up to?
So a little apology for the Menty B and the influenza,
Okay, yep. So that's your apology?
That's my apology for the week.
Okay. I will jump in with an apology that's got nothing to do with anything that we've done or anything that happened on the podcast. I don't even think they listen to the podcast. I'm just going to throw a little apology out to my brother, Josh. He is in the middle of moving houses at the moment, and they've bunked in with my parentals, which were around having an afternoon tea yesterday. I don't know why I'm laughing because it's quite mean, but it is funny. But he's I'm not going to say a coffee snob, but he enjoys his coffee. And so even for the time they're there, they bought their coffee machine. It's on my parents' bench, and I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, so I thought it'd be fine just to just take a few of the Tampers and things and just hide them in the house, just so he didn't have them this morning. Little did I know when I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, there was messages on my phone from 5:30. He's like, "Have you moved coffee stuff?" He goes, "I'm running late for work. I can't find anything." I think I created a little bit of a stress ball for him.
Speaking of anxiety.
So I don't know why I'm laughing, because part of me found it funny. The other part, after I knew that and I'd made him late and he missed his coffee, I thought, oh, shit, I've done something brutal here. So sorry, Josh. Apologies, but that's brotherly love, I think. So
isn't that funny? Once an older brother, that never goes away.
Never goes away. Just a little immature. So a little off the side there apology, just throwing out to brother Josh.
Amazing.
But yeah, what else have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I feel like what I've really been up to is just resetting my entire life. So just trying to get some routine back, getting back into some exercise. I don't know if now's the time to talk about it, but I've sort of started to engage a bit of a formal training program for our Olympic 100-metre
the challenge
run that's coming up.
I don't even think I could have walked 100 metres a couple of weeks ago. It's still on the list.
I went for a what can only be described as like the shuffliest shuffling jog you've ever seen in your life with my best friend Nicole last week. And as we were running along Oxley Road up a hill, I would have been going I probably could have been going twice as fast if I'd just stopped trying to run and started walking. Like I probably was running slower than a walking pace, feeling like I was going to vomit. And so things are looking good in my preparation.
Wonderful.
The
things I thought about with that was whether we do it if we go to like if we go to UQ or something and do it on the proper track, then 100% I'll need to wear shoes. If we're just going down to Peter Lightfoot down here and getting some...
Go barefoot, would you?
I think so.
Barefoot
I don't know.
bandit?
There's something, jogging 100% needs shoes, but sprinting, I don't know what it is.
You want those toes to really grip into the grass.
Yeah. I want to see how far behind.
Yeah. I was quietly confident when we set the challenge 6 weeks ago, and now...
So, yes, there's been things that have stopped us. We need to actually probably look at that in the next couple of weeks just to see
throw
if we
a date in and
just get it done.
I'm now predicting that my 100-metre time is probably going to be more like 20 seconds. I thought I might get close to 15 seconds, but I reckon I'm blown it out of the water now. I'm just not sure. So, basically, that's what I've been up to, training for that, but not really at all. That's just been part of resetting my health, getting back into regular high-intensity exercise, eating a few more vegetables. Nothing I'm saying today has anything interesting about it at all. It's just the real basics of getting life done.
It's the raw Katie comeback.
It's right. It's just doing the bare minimum to get out of bed and get some stuff done. You have been far busier than I have getting things done.
A little bit, which we'll get to a bunch of music stuff which you've been involved with. Part of it as well.
Yeah.
But aside from music, lots of things. Probably the biggest news that happened in the family is I am now an uncle again. Jen's sister had their first ever little baby boy.
First ever.
Their first ever baby boy. Successfully. Everything went smooth. They're home. They're loving life. Jen actually got down to one of the first to spend some time and meet him. They're down in Melbourne. So, yes, had a full-time dad job for about 4 days, three nights, 4 days, a couple of weeks ago, which thankfully...
Over Father's Day weekend?
Over Father's Day weekend, it was indeed.
Yep.
Perfect time to have the kids full-time. That was great. Lots of things happening there. I've been to part of that weekend was going to my first of two milestone wedding anniversaries. So I went to a diamond wedding anniversary for really close family friends down just across the border in New South Wales for a 60 years wedding anniversary. Which was a celebration.
How old are they to be married for 60 years?
Well, we went to Ken's 70th birthday. 80th birthday. Just hang on a sec.
Ken got married at 10.
80th birthday a little bit earlier this year. And Margaret is a couple of years younger. I think she was 17 when she got married. So
and he was like 20.
Very young. But yes, it was great. They're really, really close friends. Almost they're considered family, kind of like surrogate grandparents to Jen and Liv.
Yeah.
Wonderful family. So it was really just the family there.
Yep.
It's very funny being, of course, we're part of the family. Like they wouldn't have it any other way. So, but yeah, it was a nice little morning tea. They were thrilled. They're originally from the UK, so they were thrilled to have like the official congratulations letter and signatures from the King and Queen.
Do they get that?
That through one of their daughters. You had to apply for it.
Oh, right.
But yeah, they got it, and then of course
funny.
everything else flowed from the Prime Minister to the.
Oh my
they had
goodness.
They had a little section with all the little
That's
certificates.
hilarious.
So,
yep.
But yes, happy 60th anniversary to Margaret and Ken. The following day, I had a birthday party. I had to take my middle daughter to, and that was at Time Zone. Her first time there. She loved it, playing on all the
Lost her mind getting some tickets and some
just loving
candy
life.
and plastic toys at the end.
Yep, going and just spending 20 minutes trying to work out what she's going to spend her 400 credits on.
Yeah.
So I think she got a few little bracelets and whatnot. This is great content. And then Jen had a wonderful weekend down there, and then come back only for the following week. Which was actually before that. Oh, that was music chat. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I'm jumping all around the place. And then, just this last weekend, the second wedding anniversary, been to same side of the family. My wife's parents celebrated 50 years of being married. So 1974 to now. And so they had quite a few years where they enjoyed being married with no kids before kids came along.
Yeah.
14 or 15 years, whatever it was. That was good to catch up with a bunch of family friends on Saturday. It was
Brilliant.
Really good. So, a diamond and then a golden. And I was looking at what's next? And apparently, I could have this wrong, either 65 or 70 years is a platinum anniversary. I think 75. No, 70. And then 80 years is oak. Now, I want to know we'll have to do some research. Has anyone actually been married 80 years?
Oh, I'm sure they would have been.
80 years married? Like where both are still alive, they'd have to be close to 100.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard of it recently within someone we know.
But it's called oak.
Yeah.
Gold.
Seems like it's slightly less valuable than platinum. But
Well, I was thinking, is it the
casket?
Is it the coffin? 80 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, wedding chat. This is great. Skip the beat.
Yeah.
That was the anniversaries, but it's been on the back of getting sick and trying to get health back and everything like that. There hasn't been much time for anything personal in relation to exercising or training for our challenge, but I'm hoping to start to get back to.
I suspect that even without training, you're probably going to paste me.
I don't know.
Fairly soundly.
I'll probably end up in emergency with 2 hamstrings done.
My sprint training has involved far more cycling than it has actually running. So I'm not sure about the crossover effect of that training, but I'm hopeful.
So yes, we will get it done. So music wise then.
Mate, where do we even start?
I don't know. I feel like you should go first with your few little gigs that you went to, because I guess the tour side of things might take up a fairly big chunk.
Yeah.
There's a question that came in from a Skippy listener as well around that. So you've seen some gigs.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I've seen. I'm sure I've seen more, but the one gig, but the 2 singers that sprung to mind is the gig that I went to the night of Alta Falls, first show in their run of national shows for the rest of this year. And it was just 2 of my absolute favourite Australian
at the top
women, right at the top. Australian women singer-songwriters, local, sort of one Brisbane, one sort of central coast of New South Wales. So it was Sam Buckingham's headlining gig, and she had the delightful Emma Dean in support, who is just a beautiful jazz vocalist but pop songwriter. It was at the old museum, so it was very close to where you guys were playing your show. And it was just, to me, it's everything I love about a live show. It was storytelling, it was folky vibes,
female.
It was women-led, women's stories, things that I love and find important and valuable. Just a really warm feeling in the room. Bit of a weird venue choice for me. The last few times I've seen Sam Buckingham have been in probably my favourite small venue in Brisbane at Ashgrove at the Junk Bar. But it's only a tiny space, probably 40 people max, would you say?
It's a tiny room.
Little venue. So the last few times I've seen her there, she's played there, and it sells out in 15 minutes. So I've been very lucky to even get tickets to go and see her there. And so I think she realised she's got some more selling power. And so they went to the old museum, but not in the theatre room, in one of the other rooms. And it felt a little cavernous for me for the style of show. I would have loved a venue that still could seat as many as they had, but just felt a little more intimate. But that certainly didn't that's sort of semantics. It didn't dampen the experience. Lots of new music coming out from both of them, which is really exciting. And Emma Dean, who was the support act, she also played keys for Sam's entire set. But Emma, I did probably 3 years ago now. She does some creative coaching. So she's a person that I did an 8 session over 4 months creative coaching with, who was sort of instrumental in helping me put my show together. This mystical one woman show that we talk about that may or may not get performed one day.
It definitely will. We've got to do it.
So it was just wonderful to also catch up with her personally again, see her there. But yeah, that's what I was doing. That's my standout gig since we recorded episode 12, the final episode of season 1 of the podcast. That's the standout gig I've been to. I've got some really exciting stuff coming up this weekend, which I'll look forward to talking about next week.
Okay.
But the real talk of the day is that, yes, the one and only Alta Falls have kicked off their national tour with a bang in Brisbane. So tell everyone about it.
So Brisbane happened the same night you were at Emma Dean and Sam Buckingham. Just had to say those names again. They are, I've listened to a little bit of Sam. I know a lot more of Emma's catalogue because I've been following her since you would have probably introduced me to her in 2006, maybe.
I was going to say, I reckon it's been nearly 20 years that we've been seeing her play at bars around Brisbane.
Just little, the Troubadour, which is now the Black Bear Lodge.
Yes.
Crazy. Because she was also used to be she was in Kate Malahike's band, wasn't she?
Yeah, way back in the day. Played violin and sung backing vocals,
So yes, we kicked off our tour in Brisbane. It was a really, really fun night. We got a bunch of new, wonderful people there that I've just, for the first time playing a gig and looking at, and, you know, you just try, well, I don't know if everyone does this, but kind of go, who do I know? And who I knew was extremely low.
Yeah.
Which was a really weird but like surreal feeling, being like, there's so many people here that I have no idea who they are or where they're from, but they've come out to see us play.
Yeah.
So it was a really, really good show. Lots of fun. We have never, ever before finished a set and been asked for that encore type thing that happens. Personally, I'm not a fan of them. I'm not just saying that because I'm not a fan of reserve seating, a whole chat that will come at some point in the future. But I'm just not a fan of encores. So we finished playing. We literally were standing on the stage going, what do we turn the house music up and just sorry, can't do it. We just had nothing, nothing that was rehearsed as a full band. Like a few people are like, you could have just you've done TikTok streaming, you've done this, you've done that. You could have just pulled something out of a hat. I'm like, not really. That's rehearsed. Like when you've done a full, your entire show is rehearsed down to.
Yeah, down to the second.
Down to the wire. Guys. There's visuals for every song. It was just there was nothing that I would have felt comfortable that was going to be at the same level of rehearsed quality. So yes, we left it, but a very good night. Really spent a lot of time at the back of the venue selling merch and meeting a bunch of new people. It kicked off the tour with a bang. I had just finished on the backness of my sickness in the lead up to that show, so I was fine, thankfully. That night, just before the gig, Nathaniel started to talk about how felt like he was coming down with something. Of course, was fine for the gig, but by the end of the night was in real struggle territory. Woke up on Sunday feeling absolutely terrible. Turns out he then got his next this is English.
English 101.
His next dose of COVID, basically, and was
got the COVID booster dose.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yes, so he's fine now for a little while, but he was as sick as a dog right up until he wouldn't have been obviously contagious in the lead up to Sydney because we had a week and a half before, almost 2 weeks between gigs, but still right up until the day before we flew down was still feeling absolutely rubbish from that, but was fine for the second gig of the tour, which just happened this past weekend, and yours truly played a big role, big helpful role.
Katie Marie steps up, first roadie experience.
The debut roadie?
Yeah, debut roadie, and look, I mean, other people, I wouldn't say it, but other people were saying that it made it the gig that it was. Yeah, pretty much.
I told you yesterday how much of a help it was. It was a huge help. And the merch sales, seriously. Like, so Katie not only was a roadie, and it's all started with her taking a bag of merch down with her. So I asked her, look, you don't need a suitcase, just put all your cute clothes.
The entirety of my luggage allowance was devoted to merchandise.
Put it in your carry-on.
Yeah.
It's only 2 nights. You'll be right.
I was allowed to throw one pair of jeans in my carry-on, and that's how I survived for 48 hours.
Take a bunch of crocheted koalas and zip hoodies in your suitcase, please. Thank you.
Yep.
You got in about 45 minutes before we did.
Yep.
We changed the car hire to your name, went and got the car. The van came. By the time we got the 15 pieces of luggage up to the arrivals area, you were there.
Pulled in the van. Felt like I was driving a tank.
Must be nice. You did send me a text saying, I don't think I've ever driven a van this big before.
Yeah, it was large to quite large.
Large to quite large.
Yeah.
A 12-seater it was about 2.2 or 2.3 metres tall. So that's the real deal.
Yep.
Got it all in. Then dropped you off. You had a nice afternoon catching up with your dad and Joodles and a night. And we, Scott, Nathaniel and I, just got a bunch of different final show prep stuff done, which is not exciting enough to talk about on the pod. Friday, Katie, we went on tour with 2 Katies and 2 Scotts. So on the Friday morning, Katie, our drummer, flew down. We met up with her. You came around, started to load the van, got off to the venue. Really fun night. Sold out the show. Even though there was quite a few messages of people, there's always going to be people that get sick and can't make it. But we were setting up the merch table, and I wanted to be really cheeky and bring it sort of...
Yeah, the merch table was meant to be in a place where I wouldn't be able to see the stage, but we picked it up and moved it so that I could see the gig. But then,
and I was thinking this is good too, because it just means the room will hopefully look fuller.
Yeah.
But then they came down and said, well, no, you're sold out. You just need to shuffle it back.
So I got shuffled back into a dark corner.
Yes. So look, it was our second main gig in Sydney. We played the same venue as last year, so to approximately double the capacity to sell it out was a really good feeling. Again, everyone basically, apart from a couple of family friends that we know well, it was, again, just looking at and not recognising the
was
majority
certainly
of
nobody
people
that I knew in that room except for 2 people.
A couple of TikTok people that have been really close to the band for the last couple of years. I think there was maybe 5 or 6 of them, and it blew me, like, again, just blows me away. There was people that had flown from Adelaide and flown from Melbourne. Scotty flew down from Brisbane. He helped us on the door. He was part of the crew for the night. Another lady travelled in by train from Canberra earlier that day to be there. And it's just like, what are you doing? Like, this is insane. Like, we're not Coldplay, but they're travelling and getting on planes and paying for accommodation just to come and see us play an hour and 10 minute set. It's a really weird feeling of just being so grateful, but also, how do I put it into English? Like you're so thankful, but you don't even have words, because it's just like, what? Like, you're doing all those extra things that, particularly for people in Melbourne and Adelaide, like, we're going there in a couple of months. Like, they're coming to see us again. So, it was a really, really fun night. What Katie did on her debut roadie duties was just made the night extremely smooth, from being able to drop off and get vans picked up and dropped off when we needed, to running our merch desk, to ordering a bucket of chicken at midnight and waiting an hour and a half for it to be delivered.
Yes.
You did join us for a few drinks.
We did
afterwards.
some good chicken chat.
We did some good chicken chat.
Good chicken chat late Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
We did.
And then just even again the next morning, like, you had a later flight, and just, like, again, driving the van, offloading us, going to fill it up with fuel, dropping it back so we didn't have to get to the airport 45 minutes earlier. So it's a huge, huge appreciation. So thank you. I did say that yesterday in person. I'll say it again live on the pod.
It means more live on the pod. Yeah.
So yes, and it's the first of a few.
It is.
Lined up.
And there was a handful of people at that show that I got to catch up with on the merch desk who, are flying all over the country and going to every spot. So
I saw some photos of a few of them where you were. I was like, oh, there you are. You were in some photos. There you go.
Yeah.
Part of the crew.
They were interested in having Roadie Katie in a few, just a few spots for the socials, But it was a wonderful experience seeing just the huge amount of effort that goes into a 1 hour set, 1.25 hour set. It is just an outrageous amount of work and energy that happens. And I think of all the gigs that I go to, and that's what it takes. When you see what it takes and the sacrifice and the hard work, it was pretty epic. And to see, I mean, obviously I've been watching these guys play music for like well over a decade, like a long, long time. And to see all these strangers just singing every word
it's a weird
to
thing.
These songs. Like I sort of, from my vantage point, I could only see the crowd. I couldn't see you guys at all. So when I was looking up, I was just looking at all these faces looking up at the stage. It was super, super interesting.
Yeah, it was. Very interesting.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Like as a musician, having people that you don't even know, like seeing them sing your songs, it's just like, you've been listening to us. Like our music has, and that's the number one thing as a musician, your whole thing isn't about, you definitely don't do it for the money or anything like that. You do it because if you know that you can create something that someone will enjoy and it means something to them.
Yeah.
And some of the personal messages that we've received over the last couple of months where, people have been in some pretty dark places and they've been sharing that with us, not knowing who we are, just been like, I've just found your music and this particular song got to me at the right time. Like I've either lost a loved one or I'm going through some pretty dark times myself, and it's just really helped me pull through that. It's just like, oh my goodness, like it's worth it. Like the fact that, like it's an amazing feeling to know that you can create something and share it and have people connect with it in a way. Like that's dream done there. The fact that they then come and see you at a show, and so Sydney was great, lots of fun. Next up is Melbourne.
Yeah, we got it.
November. We got a little bit of a break.
A little bit of a break, but then a hectic couple of weeks.
Yeah,
weekend to weekend. Melbourne, then
and
Adelaide,
and then even into early next year across to Perth.
Yes. Yeah.
So and you mentioned the hard work, and I feel like there was a big relief feeling after the Brisbane show, because that's what you plan all your rehearsals to. Like we have visuals, everything like that. Actually putting the show together is really stressful. But now that that's done,
it's in the can, ready to go.
Like Sydney was exactly the same as Brisbane. There's obviously a lot more in logistics. We're a self-managed independent band, and it's partly my role, kind of I've employed myself in the band, so to speak, to be the manager who does we book the flights, we book the car, we book the accommodation, we book, work out emailing the airline to get the extra baggage, so we can rock up with 4 checked items each. And it's just, it's a lot of hard work, but when you love doing it and you're doing it just because it doesn't feel like a job. When they say you love your job, it doesn't feel like a day's work. I enjoyed every moment of it. And it's been and we got a new single coming out. Hopefully we'll have a release date this week. We've heard back from a few people this morning, and now just literally just have to pick a date, probably in the first or second week of October.
Yeah, and it's a banger.
So yes, all to come. So that's Music Chat. On that note though, I did get a question from Skippy Wayne, who is over in the USA. Are they still in Puyallup?
I don't know if it's still Puyallup or they're
Tacoma.
certainly in
Tacoma.
Certainly in the Seattle
region.
Adjacent. Yes.
So Katie and I, in one of our old bands and projects, stayed with the Lurvies in America. I think we've spoken about their amazing breakfast casserole. We've had many chats.
We've had Skippy Lynn
about the
bit
Lurvies.
of feedback on this podcast before. Wayne's beautiful wife.
Yes, they are 2 wonderful humans. And Wayne actually sent through a question saying, I think on either the last episode before the hiatus or the second last one, great content, none the same. He asked a question of, do you use click track for your shows or just rehearsals? Because he said, I've always hated them, especially when I'm doing a show, like it puts me off. And I think we must have been talking about click for that to come up. Obviously.
Yeah, we would have been talking about track, I believe.
Track.
Yeah.
So the answer, Wayne, is yes, we do play to click, not just in rehearsals, but in the live show as well. So all of us on stage play with, we don't have any fallback. It's all in our ears, and we all have our individual mix. And in that, because our show is all done with the track and also to the visuals, everything's synced so that we'll make sure that we count in. We get a count in basically, and it's a real. I thought it was a bit funny when I started doing it, thinking, oh, well, you can't just it feels like you're cheating the system. But I've heard other musicians in the space that have been on tour and supported, even the biggest bands in Australia that all play to click, and they're like, no, you put your cues in your ears, you do whatever you have to, because no one hears that. Whatever you need to do to make sure that you're comfortable and doing the best show you can. So it has a little cue. We have a click in our ears. There's certain little. I thought it was a really good post to be like, you could do like the what's it called? Reality verse. Expectation versus reality of like what the band hears in your ears, and it's like the what the front of house is, and then the reality of what you have in your ears is there's a really loud click in my ears, and yes, it's the drummer's job, it's Katie's job to stay to that, but it's also very, very helpful for us as well to hear it. There's a number of cues, like if there's like a little a long solo, just for us to know that it might be it's all me talking, they get to hear my voice, but it'll be something that's on a cue, being like outro, drums keep going, and end of chorus or end of solo, just to know that it's the final time, or 2, 3, 4 counting in. So yes, that was a very long answer, but yes, we do use track, and we use it to every song, and it lines up with the visuals and everything like that. And at the start of doing it, I found it very hard, because what I used to be like with playing. I used to like having my fold back as wedges and have nothing but keys in it. So it did take a while, but now I would struggle to go back to that. I love having everything in my ears to my own levels.
And if you're playing to, I guess my only input on that would be, if you're playing with a backing track, which these guys do, you can't really do that without click.
No.
It's sort of impossible to do it without click,
particularly
because
our backing track is mainly all the synths and pads that I play with 2 keyboards, so I'll always make sure I play the lead lines, but all the backing, like extra filler, we want to make sure our sound is as close to recording as possible. So if there's any additional keys or pads parts or guitars, or even the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th vocal parts that are ooze and things like that we want to have in there, it just fills it out a little bit more. I think we'd still have an okay sound. It'd just sound very different if we played as a 4-piece than having the backing track. So
for a song for you guys like Time, where you don't play to track,
only one.
That's what I was going to say. So you don't play to click for that at all?
No, so really what I've worked out is I did a time of how long on average it takes.
Yeah.
So the video I know to make just slightly longer than that time.
Yeah.
But I still have when I trigger the video for that, I still have something in my ear saying the video starting in 3, 2, 1, and then I just start knowing that the visual will come up on there. So I've still got cues in my ears to say, otherwise you're trying to guess.
Yeah.
So it just matches up so that when I hit that first note, the video starts.
Yeah.
But we just know that, okay, well, we'll just do the song as rehearsed. There's no click for that. But we still have that beautiful mix of just for once, there's no click telling us to.
So, it's a bit of both, Wayne, is the answer. A little bit of both. So the actual click track that I think you were referring to, is just particularly important when they're playing to track, because if you've just got synth in your ear or oohs and ahs, there's no rhythm to that. So you have no idea when that chord change is going to happen if you don't have that click coming through. I hate singing with any of it, but it's because I haven't had to do it very much.
Yeah, it took me a while.
Yeah.
And it's at that point now, I guess, where I'm so used to it, and just know that as soon as we load the presets, our ears, you got to just tweak your foldback mix in your ear for the different venues and different sizes and things like that. But basically all the effects and everything in your ears is as it was the previous time. So I'd struggled having to go back to wedges and things like that. But great question, Wayne. It's the answer is yes. We do play to track for everything. Click to everything.
Yeah.
I think, is that tour chat done? Did we cover everything? Have I missed anything? Anything important?
I think so. I feel like we could devote a whole lot more time to it. I might think about some particular tour things from my point of view after the next show.
All the things that we could improve on.
Yeah, all the things that all just the things that I find interesting from a punter's point of view. Being a bit more behind the scenes, seeing stuff now. So but as my first roadie experience, look, I know there's a few things I can improve on, but it was super fun.
I'm interested to see what you think you can improve on, because I think it was fine. I don't think it was just. I was thinking, why have we not annoying her. Or just she's just gophering and go off to get a van and off to this.
It was quite hilarious seeing people treat you guys like you were rock gods because you are still just my really stupid friend. So I found that a bit absurd, to be honest. It's really funny. Yeah, but
it's
great.
It's a weird feeling.
So great. Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Season 2, what are you about to bring us here, Matt?
This is how long it's been. Is it this one here?
Mate.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
I'd like to say and admit that even though we're in season 2, I don't think anything about the quality of what Music Pun of the Week has changed.
Yeah.
I don't think we're striving for anything better. We're still striving for maybe 1 in 5, 1 in 6 little chuckles. Most of the other time, no.
Yeah, sticking to what we know. You might get a bit of an easy laugh, Katie, today because I've had a bit of a break. I haven't been worn down by weekly Pun of the Week.
Oh, this one's just, I don't know, it's a bit different. This one's another question one.
Okay.
But how do you know when a bad singer is at your door?
I don't know.
Well, they can't find the key and they don't know where to come in.
I like that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to pay that.
We're there. Season 2 on with a bang.
Yeah. I like that.
If it was me, if I was going to better the joke I read, I would have just said, how do you know when a singer's at your door? Or you could have done the lead singer.
Yeah.
Just no arms.
Yeah.
We've also had very little Olympic chat.
I know.
This too, I've just realised.
Just sort of, season 1 ended and we just both went into an Olympic coma.
It did, and then the Paralympics started.
Amazing.
And that just
dominated our lives for 2 weeks.
Messages I had to you, just like, this person has literally just swum 200 meters with no arms.
Yep.
And kind of one leg that's like, it's become like a flipper on their back.
Yep.
And just, they finish a race with their head and they sink to jump up and then hook the foot up and just to hold themselves on. I'm just like, I can never complain about my body ever again because they have their disability and they have been able to just nothing stopping me from competing and just getting on with life. Like the Paralympics, I think I said it weeks ago, I take my hat off. To me, it's just, I enjoy elements of it way better than the Olympic Games.
Yeah. It's insane. It was wild. Not that this is on the whiteboard, but my standout, I can't remember the athlete's name, but one of my standouts was the one-legged high jumper.
Oh.
That clears 1.77 meters, like clears something taller than me with one leg.
Sure.
Like how? Yeah. Okay, mate.
And then the Australian, I can't remember her name, but she broke the long jump record.
Yeah.
I loved, those, I don't know what
the Blade Runner.
The Blade Runner style thing. It's just literally just flies just through the air.
Unreal.
Just, world record done, gold medal. Well done. Just
so good.
So Paralympics, they've all finished now. So there shouldn't be any more Olympic chat for 4 more years. So I don't know what season we'll be up to at the pod by then. Yeah. I'll probably be saying we've got another release coming out next week.
You'll be releasing your second single.
And I think there's only really one more thing on there.
One thing left to do.
From the pouch. So I pulled this from the pouch out. I was doing something yesterday that made me go, oh yeah, that's a memory I've got with Wallace. Mm-hmm. And I don't know whether I need to tell you what I was doing that reminded me of that first, or whether I need to
just go straight pull it out of the pouch.
Yeah. I don't know which way to do this, because I think if I explain it, you'll know exactly where I'm...
Okay, just pull the memory out of the pouch and then you can
actually, what I'll do is I'll just start. So I was out there cutting fruit up.
Okay.
And I did a weekly grocery shop of putting things away, and I was cutting up pineapple. Love pineapple. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Mm-hmm. Which then led me to eat quite a lot of pineapple.
Okay.
Like I ate probably half of it.
Yeah.
Because I do. And for the record, this is a whole other conversation for another time. Pineapple should be consumed just as pineapple or pineapple juice. You don't put it on things. That's a whole other thing. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
You don't put it on things.
And certainly you don't put it on things that have meat and then cheese and put it in the oven and melt over. Disgusting.
Have a word with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Although it is a good decoy pizza, because people who don't appreciate good pizza will eat that and leave the good pizza.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that's a whole other conversation. So my from the pouch was that time we were driving back from Sydney, and you said, "Oh, I've got chip tongue,"
Yes.
and I went, "The fuck." And you're like, "You've never had chip tongue?" I'm like, "What's a chip tongue?" But when I was eating all that, after I had consumed it, I said, "I've got pineapple tongue."
Yeah, you got chip tongue from a pineapple.
I got pineapple tongue. I don't know, my question for you is, have you ever had pineapple tongue?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but my tongue was just all sandpapery. I had pineapple tongue or chip tongue.
I got chip. You don't get chip tongue from all chips. You predominantly get it from salt and vinegar chips.
But what's that got to do with pineapple? Is it the acid?
The acid, yeah, it must be. It must be.
So can you just, for 2 minutes, just explain, just put into words what chip tongue is?
We'd been down in Sydney playing at a wedding of friends of ours, and we were driving back, and we must have been pounding some chips, which that checks out. It seems like something we'd be doing together. And I just pounded one or two too many salt and vinegar chips. And I'm sure the listeners would have understood what I meant when I said I've got chip tongue. It's that it's not only your tongue, it's like it sort of seeps out onto the corners of your lips, and all the inside of your mouth just feels like it's on fire.
Yeah, it's raw.
Yeah, it is.
Someone's had sandpaper and gone like, don't do that.
But it doesn't stop you from picking up another chip.
Yeah,
it's just something that you have to persevere through. Once you get chip tongue, you just have to, it
Keep
doesn't
going.
stop you. And so I've absolutely had pineapple tongue as well.
I got that last night when that was too much pineapple.
Yeah. So Matt didn't understand chip tongue.
No, I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
But that's what made the memory
That's
happen.
a good from the pouch.
Pineapple.
I got a
pineapple
bad case of chip tongue on that trip. Because I think we weren't even.
Oh, we demolished.
We weren't
some
even
bags.
at Coffs Harbour by the time I got chip tongue. There was a lot of hours still to go.
And that was the trip you also pulled into the service station thinking, got to fill up with fuel. And it was like, oh no, actually I read that wrong. We're 3/4 full, not 3/4 empty, just so we could go, well, when in Rome, a couple of Krispy Kremes, some more chips, another DC.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all the money we made from the gig.
Yeah. Which was nothing because we were doing it as a favour.
So, from the pouch.
Mm.
From the pouch.
That was a good one.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 1 of season 2. It was a very long-winded episode, I feel. We didn't go into as many segments as we normally
Yeah, there was a bit to catch up on.
It was a good catch up while we've been away for so many weeks. I've also had a joke yesterday with some people that are in our Discord for the band at how I've forgotten. I set my keyboard up here thinking I might get into some live streams again over the next week, and had the joke of like, how do I even go live? Because it's, again, been like 6-7 weeks since doing that. Like, it's just been like from someone who does that, because I like it from a even just from the point of view of being able to just play music and sing, and just that's like an outlet for my, not creativity, but like even my mental health. Like you said, you have to do 30 minutes of intense exercise.
Yeah.
Like exercise is one thing for me, but also like sitting down and actually playing and just singing and like playing covers and things like that is just, again, a little avenue of that for me. So I've missed that.
Yeah.
So I'm, now that I've got a voice again, I'm looking forward to getting back into that. So, but yes, thank you for bearing with us over this slightly longer episode. Again, if you're here for the first time, you can find us on the socials, whatever you use as your social media outlet. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are our 3 main ones. I don't know why I said main ones. They're our only ones. But you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and wherever you listen to podcasts. So we do a little video of the pod. We chuck it up on YouTube, but you can also listen to the pod through Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Amazon and all the streaming platforms that push podcasts out into the world. So
I'd like to thank all the skippies who reached out when we didn't come back for episode 13. It was really nice that people missed us. So thank you so much for listening, and hopefully, we can keep churning them out for a few more weeks yet.
Yeah, we've got a few more seasons, I think.
I think so.
I think if we're doing
Let's
12
see
a
how many
season-
episodes season 2. Season 2 might
You just don't know.
only have 7 episodes. We don't know.
We don't know.
It's a mystery.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so very much. And we'll see you again, hopefully, within a week.
Ciao.